In the playoffs, history just wasn't meant to be. Seeking to become the first NBA team to come back from an 0-3 series deficit, these young Toronto Raptors were shown that they still have much to learn, still have much to grow.
And that's going to do it. Philadelphia takes the series over the Toronto Raptors.
Very few gave the Raptors a chance coming into this 2021-22 season. That's just the way it goes in these parts. Vegas had them winning around 36 games, and ESPN had them finishing 12th in the East. By any reasonable measure, 48 wins and the 5th seed made this Raptors season a resounding success. But where to from here? Are they in no man's land like some suggest?
But they're just good enough to make it to the playoffs, and that's it.
They don't have no stars.
Yeah.
Good but not great? Or is this really the start of something? All signs point to the latter, beginning with Scottie Barnes.
How about Birch? All over Booker leads to this. Barnes now! Scottie B to the rim!
With what he accomplished over the course of the season, it's evident that the Raptors drafted a generational talent, and a leap from Rookie of the Year to All-Star conversations next season is within the realm of possibility. His moves around the basket already look polished. Those no-look passes have everyone giddy about his playmaking. How far can his shooting come along, and how well can he defend the perimeter? That's what's going to move the needle for him next season. While Barnes' development may be the most important, perhaps no one's trajectory is more tantalizing than Precious Achiuwa's.
Here's Achiuwa quickly into the front court, and a transition three from Precious Achiuwa, because you had that down in training camp.
Through December, he seemed borderline unplayable. But by the end of it, and especially in the playoffs, he was Toronto's biggest X factor by virtue of his ability to defend any player prototype. From the size and strength of Joel Embiid to the skills and craft of James Harden, or even switched onto the road runner Tyrese Maxey, Achiuwa has the tools to defend them all. On the other end, he's popping that three, he's driving to the rim with force. He is without a doubt Toronto's trump card for next season. From wild cards to rowing the boat gently down the stream, the main thing the Raptors need out of Fred VanVleet and OG Anunoby is a full season. VanVleet was an all-star this season, but was a shadow of himself after the break. He had to deal with knee soreness and then a left hip flexor strain in the playoffs. Toronto leaned on him heavily to keep them afloat in the first half of the season, and it left him on empty by the end of it. If the Raptors have any plans of going deep in the 2023 playoffs, VanVleet is going to need less floor burn and more cotton wool. While VanVleet may have been overworked, Anunoby was just unlucky with the injuries he picked up. Prior to this season and the Tampa tank, he was able to play at least 67 games in each of his previous 3 seasons, so there's no reason to believe he won't get back to that. At his best, OG is an all-defensive team candidate who can provide a solid scoring punch, and he showcased that in the playoffs despite playing just 6 games after the All-Star break. Steadiness from both Fred and OG for 70-plus games, and the Raptors are one step closer to greatness. It may appear that Pascal Siakam has just about topped up on his ceiling, but there's reason to believe the contrary. Having just turned 28, and with what sports science means these days, he's got anywhere from 5 to 7 years of his prime left. Despite the notable improvements in his mid-range and with his playmaking, this will actually be Siakam's first full healthy offseason since winning the championship. Improvement is his middle name, and by ramping up the efficiency on his jumper beyond 16 feet and improving his ability to pull up off the dribble, Siakam becoming a household name next season shouldn't be seen as a surprise. Nick Nurse, the man tasked with putting it all together, is going to have his say too, especially now that both he and Masai Ujiri made it clear that Nurse is not going anywhere, and definitely not the LA Lakers.
Yeah, I want Messi, I want Ronaldo, I want Kobe Bryant, you know? Yeah, so they keep dreaming, I dream too.
Nick Nurse proved yet again that he's someone who can maximize the roster at his disposal. And with Vision 6'9", a dream now realized, how the mad scientist takes what worked and what didn't this season to cook up an even better formula next season will be fascinating to watch. The front office has their work cut out for them, no doubt. There's not much by the way of salary cap flexibility to work with beyond the mid-level exception, while both Chris Boucher and Thad Young, who emerged as key bench contributors, are free agents. The playoffs re-emphasize shooting as a major weakness, and as mentioned earlier, guard depth to lighten the load on VanVleet is much needed. Is there a trade to be made? Only time will tell. What we do know is that the Raptors do development better than most. And so if it's exactly that they're counting on, it'd be silly to think they're anywhere near the middle of nowhere.